Hello, everybody. Our museum reopened of about a month ago at the middle of May. And in that time, we have of about 20% of usual visitors. But like other museum, we want to find any new ways to connect to our visitors. And my short speech is I want to talking about situation with creative industries and museum in Russia. It's just a short mention. If you know, in Russia we have no special program like Creative Europe or Creative Latvia or something like this, and our state parties have no any ideas for preparing such program. I ask our staff from government about it, but they say no, it's from Europe. In Russia we have our own way for all. So, and at the start of this year, I have very interesting discussions to my museum colleague from many Russian museum in time of conference in big museum conference in Kaliningrad. I start this discussion because my colleague from NEMO, from Creative Museum Group, Ineta Simansone, sent me some questionnaire and asked my Russian colleagues about creative industries and museum in Russia. But then I start my dialogues to my Russian colleagues. It's get clear for me that in Russia, the term creative industries is not so obvious for museum staff, and especially not obvious for museum administrators from state parties, like staff from Ministry of Culture, regional Ministry of Culture especially, etc. Many people in Russia thinking that term creative industries is something like Western fiction construction. And so it's difficult to discuss to museum staff about this question, because many people have no idea about what does it mean, creative industries, and how it connected to museum. But from other sides, museum that clearly understand what creative industries means oftenly cannot use all methods of interaction between museum and creative sectors due to strong government regulation of museum economy activity. Because, you know, in Russia, mostly museum is a state budget organization, and we have in many cases a very strong restriction from point of view how we can spend money for investigation to creative things like souvenirs, video productions, etc., etc. Time of COVID, I think, open the box of problems in Russia museums, because in many cases our museum have no staff for preparing online content, for working to social media, etc., etc. And in many cases they have no good experience in these fields. So COVID has been a kind of challenge for us, because all museums start to develop online activity programs and often reopening and develop new creative thinking based program for circumstances of COVID restrictions. And I think for Russian museums, COVID became a trigger for rethinking of interaction between museum and creative industries. And museum staff get new experience also my museum too, that say him that creative industries is not only economic instruments for increasing income, but in some cases, like pandemic time, a kind of life jacket for museum and for museum connections to society. So this is what I want to say about creative industries and Russia. I think in a few months we'll prepare short articles based on interviews of with museum directors, with museum professionals, and translate it to English, so you can read it and get more information about situation in Russia. Thank you.
What do you think was the COVID the catalyst to remind us that museums are the part of economy and of the creative economy, actually?
For us, the COVID crisis time, it's bad time, because we are museum reserve. Our museum get jobs of about 300 inhabitants of a small village, Sviyazhsk. And then last years we have of about 600,000 visitors. And so people can get money from this touristic flow. And then it stopped. All life in our village stopped too, because many people lost their jobs, lost their money, etc. So I think it's evidence that museum is a part of economy, because we make money for region economy. It's evidence.
Yeah.
And for local people too.
Yeah, thank you. What is a general lesson, actually, what we learned from this pandemic?
For us, the main lesson that the world is changed, and museum and museum staff must change too, because if we stay in past and not use TikTok or something like this, the world can go far from us, and we stay in our solid museum historical place, but nobody surrounding us. So we must cooperate to modern world, to creative industries, to creative people. The main lesson for us.